Gemini. This week changes the emotional meaning of a relationship, a partnership, or a decision you thought was still flexible. The full moon in Sagittarius lands directly across from your sign, and that means the pressure is immediate, external, visible. Somebody else's behavior forces clarity. This is one of those weeks where avoidance stops working. You may finally see the imbalance in a connection you kept trying to intellectualize. Maybe you convinced yourself the mixed signals meant complicated. Maybe you kept waiting for timing to improve. Maybe you kept translating inconsistency into potential. But this full moon removes the fantasy layer, and the truth arrives fast. For some Geminis, this becomes a relationship turning point. For others, it's business, collaboration, contracts, or friendship dynamics. Either way, another person becomes the mirror through which you finally recognize what has been draining your energy. Uranus continues destabilizing your identity and perception of the future. You are changing faster than some people around you realize. And part of this week's discomfort comes from recognizing that certain connections were built for an older version of you. That realization hurts more than you expected. Mercury leaving your sign and entering Cancer also changes your internal focus. The conversation moves from "what do I want" toward what actually feels emotionally sustainable. That distinction matters, because Gemini energy can survive on stimulation for a long time. But Cancer energy asks whether your nervous system feels safe there, whether your heart relaxes there, whether you can exhale there. Midweek may bring financial or emotional reality checks. Expenses, obligations, emotional labor, or questions about fairness become impossible to ignore. And then something subtle happens. You stop trying to win the conversation. That is the real shift. Instead of chasing explanation, reassurance, or resolution, you begin quietly evaluating whether the connection itself still deserves access to you. By the weekend, you may reduce visibility, respond more slowly, or emotionally detach from situations that once consumed your attention. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally understand that constant uncertainty is not the same thing as passion. This week teaches you something difficult. Not every connection that excites you is meant to follow you into your future.
Gemini. Your tarot card is the Eight of Pentacles. This week shifts your focus toward consistency, discipline, and long-term improvement. Something in your life is asking for craftsmanship rather than emotional improvisation now. You may realize that emotional fulfillment is built slowly through repeated choices, not dramatic emotional highs. Relationships, finances, creative work, or even self-worth improve through steady attention this week. There is also a quieter confidence growing in you now. You no longer need immediate validation to know you are building something meaningful. And honestly, that emotional maturity changes your energy more than people realize.
Gemini. You get hexagram 56. Fire over Mountain, the Wanderer. This hexagram reflects transition, emotional displacement, and temporary states of uncertainty. You may feel emotionally between worlds this week, no longer fully attached to an old direction, but not entirely settled into the new one yet. That feeling is valid. The Wanderer asks you to move carefully and consciously while circumstances continue shifting around you. Emotional clarity develops gradually now, especially around relationships and future direction. You are not lost. You are simply moving through a phase where identity and belonging are being redefined.
Gemini, your rune is Now These. Now These is the rune of necessity, pressure, and emotional restraint. This week may feel emotionally frustrating at moments because something cannot be rushed into resolution yet. But limitation is not always punishment. Sometimes pressure reveals what truly matters. You are being asked to slow impulsive reactions and examine deeper emotional needs beneath temporary discomfort. There may also be an important lesson now around emotional boundaries, patience, or recognizing where you have been operating from emotional scarcity instead of emotional trust. Strength develops through conscious endurance this week.
This week demanded honesty. Not performance, not excuses. Honesty. Some of you saw people clearly for the first time. Some of you saw yourselves clearly for the first time. And while that truth may have hurt initially, it also broke patterns that were quietly exhausting your spirit. Do not run back toward emotional confusion simply because certainty feels uncomfortable. You already know what your instincts have been trying to tell you. Leave a comment below and tell me, what truth became impossible to ignore this week? And if this message resonated with you, subscribe, like the video, and turn on the bell so you don't miss next week's forecast. And remember, watch your rising sign too. Sometimes your rising sign reveals the deeper emotional story unfolding underneath everything else.